the divisional round, the greatest round in sports history. All 4 games went down to the final possession. In Nashville, the Bengals took on the Titans. The Titans defense was unstoppable, as the Titans defense had 9 sacks in the game. But somehow, the Bengals found a way to win the game on a McPherson game-winning field goal, 19-16. Lambeau Field. Green Bay hosted San Francisco. In the fourth quarter, the Packers led 10-3. In a critical moment for the San Francisco 49ers, the Packers special teams made a critical error, as San Fran special teams blocked the punt and tied the game at 10. Green Bay's next possession was 3 and out. Jimmy Garoppolo and the Niners drove down the field to get Robert Gold in the field goal range. And Robert Gold kicked the Niners into the NFC Championship game on a 45-yard field goal, winning 13-10. In Tampa Bay, Matthew Stafford and the Rams held on to beat Tom Brady and the world champion Buccaneers in a wild game, 30-27. Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs took on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills in a heavyweight battle that will be talked about for years to come. A classic, the best game of the season. Both quarterbacks were unbelievable. No interceptions were thrown in the game. Unfortunately, somebody had to lose in this classic of a game. In the fourth quarter, back and forth, they win. The Chiefs took the lead on a Mahomes touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill for 64 yards. The Chiefs led 33-29. Josh Allen and Buffalo answered back with a touchdown on their own as Allen threw a touchdown pass to Gabriel Davis to go up 36-33 with 13 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Buffalo seemed to have the game won, but Mahomes did Mahomes things as he drove Kansas City down the field. 2 passes to Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce to get him in a field goal range. And Buckard tied the game on a 49-yard field goal to send the game into overtime. Kansas City won the coin toss in overtime, and they drove down the field, wasting no time, not giving Josh Allen a chance to take the field. As Mahomes threw the game-winning touchdown pass to Travis Kelce to win 42-36. Ladies and gentlemen, Championship Sunday is complete. Kansas City, Cincinnati, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. What 2 teams will face each other in the biggest game of them all, the Super Bowl in Los Angeles. The nation speaks to you. Next. From the gridiron to the court, talking all that is sports. Members of the Busted Open Nation bring to you our Nation Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Ezra Victory, Joey Thornton, Kevin Rorie, Randy Gyron, and Stephen Wyand.
All right, here we go, folks. It's that time once again, this time on a Tuesday. It's awesome, guys. It's our Nation Sports Show. We are live. We are ready to rock and roll. Thank you guys for joining us once again. It is weird. We are on a Tuesday, but that is our new schedule as we announced last week. Thank you for joining us. I am Ezra, of course. Welcome to our show, man. We got a lot to talk about after a crazy divisional round weekend. That was just utterly insane. Some shock defeats, number 1 seeds out. Just all these games ending in all one particular way. It's been freaking insane. We're going to talk about it. And of course, as I always say, you wanted the best. Well, they're not available, so you got us instead. But we're here to bring you the sports. You can join us live on YouTube right now, as that's where we're streaming the show. YouTube.com. Search for Our Nation Sports Show in the search bar. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Get us the 100 subscriber mark because we need your guys' support to get us that custom URL, so it's easier for you guys to find us and easier for us to share content with you. Also, don't forget, go to twitter.com/ON_sports show, Facebook.com/Our Nation Sports Show, and Instagram.com/Our Nation Sports Show. Go there, find us at all of our social media platforms, and follow and like, man. Help us build. Get us there, guys, because we can't go on without your support. That's what makes us grow here on the show. But enough about that. Let's get to the guys at hand. We got with us, of course, our good man here, the number one Oakland Raiders fan on this show, a great guy, none other than Randy Geyer. And Randy, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, fellas? How you guys doing tonight? It's weird being here on a Tuesday, I'm going to tell you that, but it's all good. There's one great thing that did come out of this weekend. No more QB 12.
We'll definitely get into that. In just a little bit.
But great football. Unbelievable. I missed the end of that Bills and I really wish I hadn't. But it's been great, and the four teams that are left, it's all going to be a great Super Bowl no matter who gets in there. So
yeah, it's definitely going to be a bar burner for sure. Next up, we got, of course, our buddy here, Joseph. Don't call him JT. Justin Timberlake Thornton. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, sports fans around the world? I hope you guys enjoyed this crazy divisional playoff weekend, because let me tell you, I sure as hell did. And just knowing that we're going to have a Super Bowl without Dak Prescott, Tom Brady, and Aaron Rodgers makes it so much more enjoyable. Yes, bring on Championship Sunday. I'm ready.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited for Championship Sunday, especially when there's no Aaron Rodgers in it, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Exactly.
Let me tell you, it makes my life more enjoyable. But coming up now, next on our docket here with us is the man who's still riding high after that unbelievable win against the Green Bay Packers with San Francisco. And that is our San Francisco 49ers insider, basically, Kevin Rorie. What's going on, man?
What's up, everybody? Yeah, I'm still a little hungover after that game Saturday, but you know what? If I gotta say, if you're a fan of any one of those teams, win or lose, I'm praying for you, because I know your team, you being a fan of any one of those teams, probably had about 3 heart attacks, no matter which team in the divisional round that you pulled for. So I'm praying for you.
Oh, definitely. It was a heart attack for any team. And then finally, of course, the fucking matriarch of this show. Without this dude, this show wouldn't exist. My heavy metal brother from another mother from North Kakalaki, the one, the only, Big Steven Wyand. Steven, what's going on, my dude?
What is going on, everybody? What a wild, crazy, insane divisional round playoffs it was. And it was the best round of the playoffs that I think we all can say was the best in a long, long time. And they've always said the divisional round is the best round. It actually really is, because the way these games were so close in a lot of ways. But all of these games were decided by a combined 15 points. That is incredible. I mean, just these games could have gone either way, and they were great. And it was a great weekend to be a football fan. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about today. So let's go.
Definitely. We got to get into a lot to talk about. But before we get into the talk about the playoffs, we got to talk about the breaking news that came down earlier today. And that comes that was first reported by Ian Rappaport of the NFL. It was reported that Sean Payton will be stepping away from his coaching duties after 18 seasons in the NFL? 15, and all of them with New Orleans, which is insane to think about. One of the most prolific head coaches of our time, former Super Bowl champion, head coach, man led Drew Brees to success with some of those great teams over the years. Been through a lot, man. The dude's been through a lot health-wise. He's been through a lot with the team, with the rebuilds and all that. But, man, that dude be first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. One of the best head coaches of all time. And whatever Sean Payton decides to do, we know he'll be great at it, whether he decides to completely step away from the game of football or whether he moves on to something else, an analyst role or something of that, maybe a column writer, whatever. But we wish, of course, Sean Payton all the best and his, I don't want to say future endeavors because I don't want to sound like a certain company that does that every fucking week. But I say that's the best of luck in whatever he decides to do next. So there you go. Anybody want to make some comments about Mr. Sean Payton?
I had actually. Oh, go ahead, whoever.
Go ahead, Randy. You started first.
Okay, cool. I saw a show was on ESPN today, and they were talking about Sean Payton leaving, and he may come back if he could be with a certain owner that would be crazy, have his back on a lot of things. Excuse me. But they're saying that maybe like a Mark Davis perhaps or a Jerry Jones. I'd love to see him in Vegas. That would be the only guy I would say if Bisaccia weren't the coach. That would be great. So who knows? You never know. That'd be great. But he's a great coach, and he was good for the city of New Orleans for all those years during the Katrina and all that. So he'll be missed, but he'll be back, and I know he'll be good whatever he does.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, Sean Payton is one of the greatest dudes to be a coach because just the way he coaches and the way he coached the Saints for all those years, especially the one thing that will always stick to my mind is the fact that he called the greatest gamble in Super Bowl history in Super Bowl 44 when the Colts took on the Saints. The Colts were up 10-6 going into the second half. And then Sean Payton designed the onside kick that they called the ambush. And boy, did it work. And, just Thomas Morstead has talked about that play. As a matter of fact, he was one of the trivia question answers for Mad Dog Radio's trivia Super Bowl contest a couple of years ago. And he talked about that play. He said Peyton was talking to me about that play, about how, okay, we're going to run it. He's like, all right, okay, it's your call. I'll do whatever you say, coach. And if it works, I hope it works. And turns out it did. He said it was a huge gamble that paid off, and it helped us win the Super Bowl because that right there swung the momentum in the Saints' favor, and they went on to win that game. I believe it was 34-17.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a great gamble. And by the way, Steven, the final score was 29-17 because I still remember that game like it was yesterday.
29-17. Okay.
Yep, I still remember that game like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
But Sean Payton, no doubt, he's a great head coach. He always will be a great head coach. And I gotta say, thank God he never went to Dallas because if he did, his career would have died before it even got started.
He would have been cursed.
Yeah, it would have been cursed. But Sean Payton is a great guy. Hated that he ended up on the wrong end of the stick with the whole Bountygate scandal, which saw him get suspended for a full year. But I mean, that did hurt, even though it wasn't really Payton that was behind it. It was that dumbass Greg Williams who didn't know how to coach a defense to save his fucking life.
Yeah.
But Sean Payton was a great coach, and he's going to be missed running the sidelines down there in New Orleans. And I got to say, Sean Payton's presence put New Orleans back on the map because for a while, New Orleans was so bad in football that they called themselves the Aints.
Mm-hmm.
They called themselves the Aints, but Sean put the S back in to where they are called the Saints, and he is going to be missed on that sideline. I can tell you right now.
And I love Sean Payton. Just when I was back in my high school glory days of playing football, they played us a clip of his motivational speech. And I for one, got chills on my neck when I heard that speech because he was just so passionate for the game. He loves the game. He does it right. He plays right. He coaches right. He gets his team ready, and he put New Orleans back on the map where it belongs, especially after Hurricane Katrina. And I got to give a lot of kudos to him because they completely did a whole entire overhaul rebuild of that city and that franchise. And I got to say, Drew Brees and Sean Payton are one of the best quarterback coach duos in the history of the game. And I got to give
absolutely. And Kevin, you brought up that video that played at our high school, dude. When we first heard that gave me chills as well. I mean, just the passion that was coming out of his voice and talking about to those kids, hey, cherish these moments on a Friday night playing at a high school football game because this comes around, once a go around in your life at the high school football. That's it. You're going up to college, and it was just a very cool video that they played. And the song in the background was really cool because it was Kenny Chesney's The Boys of Fall. And that song is a great song. Yeah. And, just hearing his speech over that piece of music. And it was just a beautiful video and a beautiful message to kids of the future, the kids that are playing football today. Because I'm telling you, there are kids out there, if they have never seen that video, they need to see it. Because I believe it's still on YouTube. And
yes, it is.
That speech,
you can actually find the Richmond Raider version of it on YouTube as well.
Yep. And and our high school team used that as inspiration, and it was a great video. And it gives me chills to this very day.
And everything that Sean Payton had said was exactly true. He was like, it seems like it was 27 years ago. I was on that bench getting ready for a game. And you don't know, I blink an eye and it's like how fast 27 years goes by. He says, so all you guys, you might get that feeling when your kid's born, when you get married. So you still get the feeling, but you don't get it like you do every Friday night. And he was preaching a point.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
Yeah,
he was. And you guys got to think of all the young men and all the men in particular that he not only coached, but acted as a mentor to. I mean, you're looking at names like Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, Marcus Colston, Robert Meacham, Jonathan Villa. And the list can go on and on and on. And not to mention the guy who pretty much sealed that Super Bowl victory over the Indianapolis Colts, that quarterback by the name of Tracy Porter.
And who played a pivotal role in the NFC Championship game that had a critical interception on Brett Favre.
You're damn right. But yet the list can go on and on and on. So Sean Payton was not only a coach, but he was a mentor. And he is a mentor that is definitely going to be missed. Not just in New Orleans, but in sports stadiums around the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. The Boys of Fall, with, like you said, a great song for Kenny Chesney, one of my favorites of his. Like you said, that video was an amazing video featuring Sean Payton, who is actually a close personal friend of Kenny's, because Kenny loves the NFL just as much as we do. Also, fun fact, in that video, it featured CJ Beathard, whose brother Tucker Beathard is also a country music star. CJ would go on to become backup quarterback for the 49ers.
I think now he's in Jacksonville now, I believe.
Yeah, he is. I keep track of the Beathard brothers a lot, especially ever since what happened with Casey back in Nashville.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, so definitely, because Tucker, he had one big hit called Rock On back in like 2011, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was an issue with like his music catalog or whatever being held up and whatever. But that's for a whole different show. But anyways, Sean Payton, great head coach, great person. He'll be missed on the sidelines, but whatever he does next, he'll be great at it too, just like he always is.
Oh yeah.
Let's get into the other big piece of news, and that is, on my end, being a Bears fan, The Bears have announced that they have selected Ryan Poles as the new general manager of the organization. Reading up on a few things about Ryan, he spent 13 seasons with Kansas City, including one at the current position that he has now with the Bears. He's been there for 1 year as that. So he's got experience, a little bit of experience. He also, according to this, he says that he will directly report to George McCaskey instead of team president Ted Phillips. So he'll be working closely with McCaskey instead of going straight to Phillips and then up the chain. So I kind of like that idea a little bit. From my vantage point, I think it's a good pick. I think it is because he's got experience with young teams. He's got experience with championship teams. He's got a little bit of both, and I think he can help make the right selection for the Bears in the head coaching job going forward. It's just I know there's a lot of criticism around McCaskey and around Phillips and all the heads of the organization, but I think that with Poles as the GM, I think he can help steer McCaskey and Phillips a little bit in the right direction of where we need to go for the head coaching job of the Chicago Bears. So I don't see it being a bad pick for the Bears.
I mean, I don't know much about the guy other than what you just mentioned, Ezra, but I mean, if you say that he has that much experience, then yeah, maybe he could be seen as a good viable option to be a general manager, and he could be somebody who can actually possibly turn the Bears around. By them getting a good head coach and building up the team that they have and drafting a bunch of young college guys who want to learn the aspect of the pro football game. So yeah, I mean, if you say he has that much experience, then maybe he is a good viable option.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'll tell you what, Ezra, though, seeing as he came from that Chiefs organization and seeing how that organization has just took off 4 straight AFC title appearances, I would take the Chiefs water boy, and that's a win-win for me and my team, honestly. Anybody from the Chiefs, hell, except Patrick Mahomes' brother and fiance. Yeah, take them. Anybody else from the Chiefs, I'm glad we take.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
He'll be the greatest water boy of all time.
Yeah, it says right here, guys. It says right here that Poles was in his first season as the Chiefs executive director of player personnel and his 13th with the franchise. So he's been around. He's no scrub. He's been around the block a time or two. So I could see him really hopefully be a difference maker for Chicago. But we'll see. It takes more than one person to make a team go around, to make a team better, as we know. So we're gonna see what happens this offseason. But all the best to Chicago on that pick.
But I think he may have also gotten sick of Jackson Mahomes doing TikTok videos and Patrick Mahomes' fiance is spilling champagne on fans during the game, for crying out loud.
But look, it could always be worse, Ezra. You could be like the Panthers and hire former Giants coach Bob McAdoo as your offensive play caller. It could always be worse.
Or
Ben McAdoo, my God.
Josh McCown as your fucking head coach.
Yes. Panthers hit a home run when they hired Ben McAfee. I mean, dude,
Dude, if I was the Texans right now, I would be more sore than Deebo Samuel's shoulder.
Oh, hey, you know what though? If Josh McCown gets hired, there's 2 things that are similar. He's still going to be coaching a high school team because the Texans are the equivalent of a high school team. The only difference is he's going to be playing pro level competition, which sucks for him. So good luck.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah. You hire any fucking Panthers hire Ben McAdoo. I don't know what was worse on that play. I don't know what was worse, hiring freaking Ben McAdoo as your head coach or the fucking overtime situation in that last game.
Oh God.
Which we'll get into later. I don't want to open that Pandora's box just yet. We'll save that. Save that.
I will say though, if Cam Newton decides to stay around in Carolina and be the quarterback,
I think you mean Cam Newton.
We're gonna see him tossing 2, 3, 4 picks a game because Ben McAdoo as the offensive coordinator is going to fucking suck ass.
Yes.
He'll be tossing and turning picks like he'll be tossing and turning picks like Peter Chris's solo album.
And you thought that Ben McAdoo ran Eli Manning into the ground? He's going to run Cam Newton faster into the ground the way Cam's been playing, or the way he played the last several games for Carolina, returning in the weekend of the 14th. So
the only reason that Eli was even a success while Ben McAdoo was there on the Giants staff was the fact that Tom Coughlin was like, no, we hate that play you called Ben, so we're going to do this play.
Yeah.
No, more than anything, it was a damn defense bailed him out millions of times.
Yeah.
I think Tom Coughlin sitting there going, yep, that's a great hire, Carolina.
If y'all want to keep sucking year after year.
Because second place means you'll be the first loser.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Carolina sucks ass. Game over.
Game over.
Carolina, and this is for Carolina and their coaching pick.
I mean, come on. I mean, you got possibly the 3 worst guys on your football staff right now in Matt Fool, Ben McAdoo, and of course that stupid ass GM who can't own his way out of a wet paper sack in David Tepper. I mean, my God, how worse can the Panthers get?
Oh man,
it only gets worse from here.
Yeah,
yes,
especially when you got Cam Newton as a quarterback.
Hey guys, I got a great idea.
Now before we get too deep into a Cam Newton Carolina Panthers tangent, let's move on to what happened this past weekend. I would love to see here a trash Cam Newton, Carolina and Houston and Dallas.
Yeah, talk about some relevant teams.
The Jacksonville Jaguars. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, God.
I don't want to get off on those. I don't want to get off of those tangents because if we do, we'll never finish the show. So,
hey, I will say real quick, the only way that the Panthers can probably get worse is if they hire Urban Meyer as a defensive coordinator.
Yes.
Well, Urban Meyer's at the club right now. He's too busy.
He's too busy being in love. Or not.
Anyways, let's get to the games for this past week, guys, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about the 2 stats. 3 out of the 4 games this past week ended with the field goal with 0 time remaining, and all 4 games ended on the final play of the game, which is something I don't remember ever seeing in the playoffs in my time period. I don't remember from watching football when I was first started watching football in 2005. I don't remember ever seeing a playoff like this with that much excitement, that many thrilling endings to it. I could not believe that.
And you know what? You know what's more interesting, Ezra? I'll add you a little stat on top of that too.
What's that?
The 3 games that ended with zeros on the clock with the game-winning field goal, all 3 teams were the away team.
Yep.
There wasn't no home field advantage.
And also another stat too, for the first time since 2010, both number 1 seeds are out.
Yes.
Gone.
Definitely. Let's get into that first game. Let's talk about the Titans and the Bengals. Bengals shocking the Titans. Number 1 seed in the AFC out. 19-16 last-minute field goal. First road playoff win in franchise history for Cincinnati. They were 0-7 beforehand. Man, what a game. Anybody want to take this, start this off?
Dare I say it, we have seen Chuck Norris 2.0 and Joe Burrow.
The only reason it's Chuck Norris 2.0 is because Chuck Norris is allowing it to happen.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
You know, I gotta say, in regards to Tennessee, I really can't find any other words to say this. And the fact that I was not expecting that run defense to dismantle, and I mean completely dismantle Derrick Henry the way they did. I mean, yeah, Derrick Henry scored a touchdown, but literally in almost all of his other carries, he was either stopped in the backfield, stopped at the line of scrimmage, or stopped after maybe a 1-2 yard gain. I mean, I was not expecting Derrick Henry to be stopped by that vicious run defense. I mean,
Joe, quick stat on Derrick Henry. 20 carries for 62 yards, 1 touchdown, but his average is only 3.2 yards per carry, which is very unlike Derrick Henry. That just proves that the defense of the Bengals was just better. To be they couldn't get those routes. The offensive line couldn't get those routes opened up get that space opened up for Derrick to be able to do what he does best.
Speaking of offense opening up lines, you might want to coach that Cincinnati offensive line a few times going into this game next week, because Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times.
Tied an NFL record.
You cannot have your star quarterback. You cannot have your star quarterback getting hit that much, especially in a playoff game where you know the competitiveness, the toughness, the physicality is going to be off the charts. You know that. You cannot have your quarterback getting hit that much. That is insane. That's asking to lose your star quarterback in the playoffs. You cannot let that happen. They got to think
exactly.
If you're a Bengals fan, you got to be a little bit concerned about your offensive line right now. Just in that retrospect, because like I said, you cannot risk injury. You cannot let your quarterback get hit like that.
No.
I mean, see, and may I remind you guys that last year, whenever the Bengals played my Washington soon-to-be names, I'm still waiting on February. I'm still ready for February. I'm still ready for February 2nd. But anyway, whenever Cincinnati played Washington last year, Joe Burrow tore his ACL and MCL after getting sacked by Chase Young.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just a regular hit. And the way that I saw Burrow go down Saturday was, I mean, yeah, he may not have gotten roughhoused or manhandled when it came to being sacked, but sometimes all it takes is one bad hit and you can suffer. You can suffer. I mean, look at some of the great names that have fallen to season-ending or even career-ending injuries over the years. I mean, look at Joe Theismann. Look at Tom Brady whenever he went out back in 2008 against the Chiefs. Look at
Joe Montana,
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith, Joe Montana, RG3. You can look
Steve
at
Young.
all those names.
Yep.
I mean,
go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, here's my take on the game. You're right, like we were talking about, and Steven, you remember I said this in the preseason viewings. I said Cincinnati's offensive line, if they don't improve that offensive line, they're going to take a beating.
Mm-hmm.
I said that in the preseason. But let's keep it real with that offensive line. Cincinnati had no business in that game, and I love Joe Burrow. But Tennessee, here's the key to keeping Cincinnati in the game, and it's called Ryan deserves to be in Houston Texans Tannehill. He sucks. Look, as much as I talk shit and love Jimmy G, at least Jimmy G's a fucking clutch quarterback. Ryan Tannehill is the Jimmy G without the clutch gene. Horrible throws, interception after interception after interception. I'm like, oh my God, this guy stinks. He don't belong in the playoffs. And then Derrick Henry, I didn't expect him to be good. Like everybody's expecting him to have this 150-yard game. He missed like how many, 10, 11, 12 weeks with that foot injury. Like he missed a lot of time with that foot injury. This is his first game back. I know he's going to be out of shape. Well, not really out of shape, but he needs to get his conditioning right. His legs are probably going to be sore. He's not going to give you that. They needed the game to be on Ryan Tannehill's shoulders, and he failed them. Now, Cincinnati, I'm going to defend their decision of not upgrading their offensive line because technically, who expected Cincinnati to even make the playoffs? Cincinnati's mindset is we're going to take 2 to 3 years. We're going to rebuild and build and build, and we're going to dominate. And in year one, they make the playoff. They set the way their mindset is, how often do you get or able to draft a once in a generational receiver like Jamar Chase? You can find any offensive lineman, any John Doe that excels at pass blocking or run blocking, but it's hard to find a generational receiver like Jamar Chase. So yeah, they decided to go with drafting Jamar Chase over left tackle Penny Sewell, which I agree with, because in free agency, guess what they can do this year? You still got Jamar Chase. They can go get him a whole new offensive line for all I know. They can go make a trade because offensive linemen are generally cheap to buy. A receiver like Jamar Chase, that ain't cheap. He's going to cost them about $150 million in about 4 more years from now. So I'm going to defend that, but they don't belong right now. But I'm just proud of Joe Burrow, and I think he's going to be up there at the same level as Patrick Mahomes, if not better, with him and Josh Allen. Joe Burrow is going to be there. It's inevitable. With him and Jamar Chase, that's going to be a better tandem than Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes. I can put money on it today just because of what I've seen in year one with no offensive line. But as far as the offensive line, what they should have done and what they're going to have to do next week in the championship, they're going to have to not bring Burrow on those 5 to 7 drop back, like step drop backs and play action pass and all deep down the field. They don't need to do that shit.
Exactly.
Get the quarterback killed. They need to do. I hate to refer to this because it's regular season, but as a Niner fan, how did Rodgers beat us in week 3? 3-step drops. Don't let the defensive line penetrate. Just get the ball out. Get the ball out. That's what the Bengals need to do. Quick slants, screen passes, something quick. Just 2 steps and get it out. Just to move the ball. Give the ball to Nick Nixon. Like it's inevitable. You just got to protect Joe Burrow. That should be their mindset.
Absolutely. And my take on this game was, look, Tennessee should be in the AFC Championship game hosting next week, but they're not because of one particular reason. Ryan Tannehill was a turnover machine. And not only that, it was the first play from scrimmage, intercepted, first play of the game. And every time, not only that, but during the game as well, after the first pick, Cincinnati kicked a couple of field goals. Tennessee scores a touchdown, and they made the biggest mistake of the game going for 2. Because by going for 2, you're leaving points off the board, and you're taking a huge chance. If they kick the extra point and it's successful, they may not have been in that situation at the end of the game with Tannehill having the drive and get him into field goal range. But during that game, Joe Burrow was getting eaten alive by Tennessee's defense, taking hit after hit, sack after sack. And I don't know how in the hell the Bengals found a way to pull this off. I'm telling you, the way Cincinnati played in this game, they should have been losing 24-10 or, something like that, because they were getting slaughtered by the defense, because statistically, a defense playing like that, they usually win the game. But Ryan Tannehill threw 2 more picks, none bigger than the interception that came with 32 seconds left. And Eli Apple deflected that ball, and Wilson picked it off, and I'm like, this is it. This is it. And then I was listening to the game on Westwood 1, and the commentator said they got 15 yards to go. I said, if Burrow can get a good pass off, this game's over. And sure enough, it was. And just the way they played, the Bengals played with a lot of guts, and, they didn't give up. And I said it last week, and I'll say it again. They are the most overachieved football team this year, because we figured they would be there in this spot 3 years from now, 2 to 3 years from now, because they had the right pieces. Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd, and all these guys, and they have a lot of great talent on that offensive end. They got a great kicker. And that's another thing that also comes into factor. This is why you need a great kicker, because McPherson was perfect in this game and played an excellent kicking game. And that's some of the reasons why I think the Bengals are in the championship game. Oh, another thing, the fact that Ryan Tannehill, they kept calling these running plays to Derrick Henry, third and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3, whatever. And every time the Bengals defense snuffed it out. Why? Because they knew that they were going to run the ball with Derrick Henry. You can't be predictable like that. Not if he's not 100% healthy, because he hasn't played for 10 plus weeks because of the injured foot. And I don't care if he's great. You can practice all day long, but come game time in real-time fast mode, that's a different beast because he was not up to the same speed that he was when he was healthy. And he wasn't breaking tackles and he wasn't, doing all that. Hell, the biggest run by Tennessee was by their backup running back for 44 yards. I mean, just Tennessee played a predictable game. And that's one of the main reasons why they lost this game. And relying too much on Tannehill, thinking that he can go toe-to-toe with Joe Burrow. If they would have made the championship game next week, I don't think they would have won the game because you had Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, which we'll get to later on in the show. The fact that you have other quarterbacks that are better throwers under pressure situations. Tannehill is not that. He reverted back to his days in Miami when he was a turnover machine. Fumbles and interceptions, and he reverted back to his old self. So Tennessee, you honestly probably need to look at getting a better quarterback because Ryan Tannehill is not the answer for Tennessee to go far into the playoffs. Not if he gets better in the offseason.
Exactly. And real quick, how often do you have a quarterback who tosses an interception on the first play from scrimmage and their last play from scrimmage?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Exactly.
The first play and the last play. How? Oh, horrible. Unbelievable.
How fitting.
Unbelievable, man.
First play and the last play. Picks.
Once again, it's Ryan Tannehill doing Ryan Tannehill things, That's exactly what it is. It's Ryan Tannehill doing Ryan Tannehill things. Dude, you got to think Joe Burrow did not throw a single touchdown. It threw for over 300 yards that game, which is even fucking impressive. Unreal play from Aaron Rodgers and company. I'll say that. Or not Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers sucks ass. I got that stuck. I got that stuck in my head, folks. I can't wait to talk about that game. That's why I'm saying his name. But no, seriously though, Ryan Tannehill, man, not the answer to Tennessee's prayers at all.
No.
But now I can officially say this. We're going to the next game, which is the game that I was so happy this game ended this way. The 49ers beat the Packers 13-10. Oh man, so joyous as a Bears.
It's a great day to be alive.
I try to keep my personal feelings aside as a sports fan and try to be impartial, but this is just too sweet to ignore. So, and I heard Aaron Rodgers' little interview on freaking the Pat McAfee show, and talked about his vaccination status and that whole situation, and talking about what his future may be. And all I gotta say is, after that playoff game,
you done messed up, Aaron.
Oh my God. That was the single greatest thing that happened all weekend. The fact that Green Bay stunk out the joint once again. Oh my God. I mean, maybe just maybe.
0 for 4 when coming off the bye week. Actually, no, it's 0 for 4 against San Francisco, 0-5 coming off the bye week.
And not only that, but their special teams unit was their Achilles heel. If you knew, Aaron Rodgers, that your special teams unit was so bad, why were you too busy faking your vaccination status and get players on the special teams unit that can block a fucking punt from being blocked? I mean, my God.
Here's the thing, Steven. Here's the thing. Their special teams, Green Bay special teams, has been their Achilles heel all season long.
Yes,
That
exactly.
has been their problem this whole season is their special teams. That has been a nightmare for them.
All season long.
Mason Crosby is the only good thing about that side of the ball. Mason Crosby, this is the only good thing. Otherwise, their special teams have been just downright deplorable. Hence why 49ers took them to school on that department this past weekend.
Not exactly. Their special teams unit was bad the entire season, and we knew that. And eventually, it was going to bite them in the butt, and it did. And in that game, that Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay had a great opening drive in that first quarter. All right, they're in business. A.J. Dillon with the touchdown, but turns out it was the only touchdown of the game. Reason why? San Francisco's defense kept them in the game. And they kept them alive. And there were times when, and I'll give Green Bay credit to a certain extent, because their defense was great as well.
Absolutely.
For the most part, because San Francisco came down the field in the fourth quarter and they got stopped on 4th and 1. And I'm like, all right, that was a good defensive, series by Green Bay. And then Rodgers got the ball back, and they were still up 10-3 with about 4.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And then disaster strikes. The block punt picked up by San Francisco goes in for the touchdown. The game is tied. And not only that, in the second half, it was also snowing in Lambeau Field. And in that fourth quarter, after the game was tied and momentum was on San Francisco's side, here's another thing that nobody's talking about. Aaron Rodgers and Chris Russo said this on his Monday afternoon show on Mad Dog Unleashed yesterday on Mad Dog Sports Radio. He said it, and I fully agree. Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback that does not go to plan B. He is so focused on Devontae Adams, looking at Adams' direction, when Allen Lazard was wide open. Nobody was near him. He had so much green grass and snow in front of him, he would have scored a 70-plus yard touchdown. Rodgers looked down the field at his favorite target, Adams, and threw up a prayer, and it was not answered. Why? Because Rodgers was not focused on what was in front of him. He was only focused on what he thought could get him a touchdown instead of looking around at his teammates. Do you think Josh Allen does that? Do you think Patrick Mahomes does that? Do you think Joe Burrow does that? No. They look at all the players that are on their football team around them and say, hey, if you're wide open, I'm going to you. Catch this ball. And, Rodgers deserved to lose that game, as he should. He did not come to play in that second half the rest of the way, not going to his receivers when they were open instead of being focused on his favorite target. The defense choked in the fourth quarter, and Garoppolo was clutch in that final drive, getting him in the field goal range, and Robbie Gould, 24-20 in the postseason in his career, kicking San Francisco into the championship game. It was beautiful, beautiful. Green Bay fans were stunned silence, cold, just like the Packers offense, cold, just like Rodgers has been predominantly in this decade, cold in the playoffs when it matters the most.
Exactly.
To me, that's what made this victory a lot sweeter for me, because Robbie Gould, a former Chicago Bear, one of the best kickers that we've ever had in our franchise's history, goes and puts the final nail in the coffin for Green Bay's postseason hopes this year. That's what made it extra sweet for me, is that dude who wore that orange and blue for so many years took San Francisco to the next round and knocked Green Bay out and sent them back home with more holes in them than the cheese that they wear on their heads.
And not only that, but I think another big play that nobody's talking about, and we obviously agree with this, the blocked field goal on Crosby. That right there was the start.
That rookie, man, that rookie saw that ball on the ground. He snagged that and ran it in. That was probably that dude was probably like, holy hell, did I really just do that?
The special teams unit blew it in the biggest possible way. A blocked field goal on Crosby when they could have gone up 13-3. Nope, blocked field goal. And then in the fourth quarter, when they were still barely up, obviously the block punt, and we know what happens.
Yes.
But if I was a Green Bay Packers fan, I would ask myself, what's more shocking? The fact that they lost yet again in the playoffs on the game-winning field goal, or the fact that all the game-winning field goal play, dumbass Matt LaFleur only sent 10 men on the field. What the
Did you not
hell,
notice
bro?
that? Come on.
What the hell, bro?
Come on.
On the field? You gotta be shitting me.
How can you not see that?
I don't
just,
know.
It was terrible. Terrible coaching. How could you not be aware of the situation? What's going on? I mean,
And I was watching SportsCenter this morning as I was getting ready for work, and they happened to do an interview on Matt LaFleur, and he was saying that he wouldn't mind having Aaron Rodgers come back and be a Packer next season, but Matt, I know you're not watching, but let me ask you a certain question. If you bring Aaron Rodgers back next year, who the fuck is he gonna throw to? Because
they have so many free agents.
You got Devontae Adams, who's a free agent. You got Valdez Scantling, who's a free agent. You got Robert Tonyan, who's going to be a free agent. And may I mention the fact that the Packers do not, and they will not, have that money to sign Adams, Scantling, and Tonyan all back next season. Not unless.
And I wonder, because they're $45 million over the cap limit.
Yeah, I mean, unless all three of them decide they want to take a pay cut, none of those three are going to be going back to Green Bay next season. None of them.
I'll let y'all talk about what the world talks about, but yet again, for a second consecutive game, the 49ers get no respect. It's all about Green Bay choke. Green Bay lost. Dallas choke. Dallas lost. Can we please put some respect on the number 3 defense in the league? There are a very critical reasoning to why the number 1 and number 2 respectable offenses in the NFL have been shut down them 2 games, and that's one of them. The 49ers gave up 7 points that first drive. Okay, and you know what? My hat's off to probably the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. DeMeco Ryans took his guys on the sideline and said, you know what? Calm down. We're going to make some adjustments. We're going to play a cover so-and-so on top of Adam's side, no matter what. The rest of the game, the Packers, 3 points, 6 sacks, and fumble. And not to mention in the second half, Aaron Rodgers only 4 completions. Adams only 2 receptions in the second half. This
and 48 total yards of offense.
Put the clamps on the league's number 2 offense in the league. No one talks about that. And I got, as much as everybody's shitting on Jimmy, like, oh, he threw a pick and yada, yada, yada. I mean, what? Come on, dude. This guy, and I'm going to defend him right now for once. This is a West Coast team that plays in Santa Clara, California. The temperature is steadily around 80 to 85 degrees, and you're asking these guys to go up to Lambeau Field where the temperature was like 7 degrees with a wind chill to make it feel like 0, and you're asking them to throw the ball? No.
How do you expect him to throw the ball consistently when you got frigid weather right there? I mean, come on.
It wasn't in the first drive. Guess what? The 49ers would have had a touchdown, but Kittle, not used to the weather, dropped a wide open, what would have been a 60-yard bomb right down the middle of the field. There was nobody in front of him. Kittle just dropped it. That was a good throw by Jimmy. Ayuk dropped the ball. But when it mattered most, Aaron Rodgers choked it up in the fourth quarter and couldn't get a drive going for nothing thanks to the 49ers' best pass rush defense in the NFL. And then Jimmy and Debo made the plays.
Man, and not only that,
throws,
but
made the slant route. And then Jimmy makes 3 throws on that drive to get them in field goal range. And then on 3rd and 7, Kyle Shanahan just disrespected the Packers defense. Said, you know what? Fuck it. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Not even going to throw it. I'm going to line Debo up here at 3rd and 7 and say, he's better than all of y'all. Y'all can't bring him down. Run him straight up the middle for them 8 yards and the first down to like pretty much just clinch the game. But the 49ers, their defense is still not getting any respect. And every analyst on ESPN, NFL Network, CBS, Fox, every single one of them picked the Packers to win by 10 or more. And I'm like, the disrespect the 49ers get, because let's face it, I mean, outside of Robert Saleh, which DeMeco Ryans might be a better play caller on defense, outside of Saleh and the loss of DeForest Buckner, this is the same 49er team with Debo breaking out as a superstar that went to the fucking Super Bowl 2 years ago, but they still get no respect and still get everybody else favored against them. And I'm like, and here's an interesting stat I found out. After the 49ers started 3-5, they were in the middle of the pack. And then at the end of the season, and right now, the 49ers are 11-2 in their last 13 games, including the playoffs. 11-2 and 8-1 on the road. 8-1 on the road. And in the NFL, if you can play on the road and bring your defense to play, you're going to win some ball games. Now, as far as the Packers go, the 49ers pretty much let Aaron Rodgers' own arrogance work against him, because here's what I mean by that. Aaron Rodgers is arrogant. He has the arrogance of, I don't trust no receiver but Devontae Adams. So, and I'm like, and I know why, because all it takes was for his tight end, which forgot who it was.
Was it the backup? It was the backup guy, right? That dropped the pass, right?
Yes, I know his name.
I can't think of his name. I know who you're talking about.
Mercedes.
Yeah, Mercedes Lewis. That's who it was.
Mercedes Lewis.
Yeah.
Wide
Mercedes
open
Lewis.
over the middle for a first down. He dropped it. Right then, I said, watch this. He ain't going back to none other receiver. He's just going to constantly look Adams' way. And the 49ers are playing defense like, goddamn, we're going to play press coverage on Adams with Jaquiski Tart over the top, so he can't do nothing. And it's funny because on that last play before they gave it back for the game-winning drive, Aaron Rodgers, it was not only did our defense line shout out to them, they put a beating on Aaron Rodgers. Nick Bosa and them boys, they came to play. Them boys came to play. But that last drive that the Packers got on that 3-and-out, Aaron Rodgers said, fuck it. He's just going to chunk up a Hail Mary route, because from what I seen, the rookie who got the punt return, Tulunga, whatever the guy's name is, they're comparing him to Troy Polamalu, first of all. But they said the coverage, he was triple covered. He had Tart beside Adams. He had Dante Johnson on the corner on his other side. Then Hufanga dropped from the line of scrimmage into coverage over the top. Aaron Rodgers still just chunked it up. That's
And
when I
yet he had Lazard wide open. Yeah, good job,
I
Aaron.
said Kyle Shanahan is a brilliant play caller. He's going to rip up that Green Bay defense in the final drive of the game, and we're going to the NFC Championship game. And that block punt, I know I've told you guys and everybody over the last 2 weeks, I said this team reminds me of the 2007 Giants. They play in the same weather against the Packers as those Giants team. Michael Strahan said it himself, but this team also has some similarities of that 2012 Baltimore Ravens team that nobody expected them to go to Mile High and beat the number one Broncos offense with Peyton Manning. And it took
Beat
a
the
miracle,
Patriots.
and it took a miracle to beat Peyton on that Hail Mary, and they did it. Now it took a miracle for us to beat the number one team in Green Bay Packers, but we did it. Block punt, return touchdown. I knew right then we got the momentum. We're going to the NFC Championship game. This team has got momentum, and it's almost like destiny that they keep winning when everybody counts them out.
San Francisco.
By the way, hold on, Steven. I'm sorry. I would put respect on San Francisco name, but all my respect went out the window for any team when Carolina hired Ben McAdoo as the head coach. That's why I can't give you. But no, seriously.
Offensive coordinator, not head coach.
Close enough. Still shitty guy for any position on that team. But anyways, they that team sucks, so it don't matter. But anyways, they I give San Francisco all respect in the world. I mean, they're a great team. They did exactly what they needed to do last night. It's just the story is I'm happy Green Bay fucking got their got sent home with their tail between their legs like they should. But Steven, go ahead with your point.
San Francisco is playing with house money. They are playing at a hot level right now. And everybody's favoring Los Angeles, which is not shocking, but they had the Rams number this season. They beat them in week 18 to get into the playoffs, to get into the big dance. And they have been riding this heat wave right now. And nobody is picking San Francisco. But we picked San Francisco last week to beat Green Bay because we knew that San Francisco was going to win this game because of their defense. Their defense is that good. Their front seven is amazing. They can get to any quarterback. They can blitz, they can cover, they can do anything. Their defense is that good.
To me, it just sounds like they're riding Matt Stafford and the Rams' dick because they're all in Los Angeles and Odell Beckham, because I don't understand how a team, no matter what the odds and yada, 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 I don't know how they can be favored when they lost 6 straight games under the same head coach to that team. And matter of fact, just lost to them in week 18 without Trent Williams playing. I don't understand that.
Yeah, good point.
And see, and not to mention, earlier this season when those two teams played each other, the Niners beat the Rams' ass all over the field, 31-10.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's no surprising that the Rams are the favorite because, we're going to pick the Rams as the favorite because they're the higher seed. Oh, bullshit. Sit the fuck down.
I went pretty well the last 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, but how many teams, not only just this past weekend, but in the playoffs altogether, how many teams lost even though they were listed as the favorite? How many?
3.
Everyone this weekend except the Chiefs. Every single one of them.
Yep.
Well, I'm not going to give you an exact number. I'm going to say it in words. A lot of teams lost.
Yeah.
Even though they were considered the favorite. So
Absolutely.
it's no surprise that you want to pick the Rams over the Niners because they're like, oh, it's the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl is going to be held in the Rams Stadium. So that means if the Rams win, they get to follow the suit of Tampa Bay and play the Super Bowl in their own stadium. So that's why we're going to pick the Rams to win. We ain't giving the Niners a chance. Oh, sit the fuck down, assholes.
Well, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that when we talk about the predictions. Well, speaking of the Rams, let's go to that game. Let's go to the Rams and the Buccaneers. Rams shocking Tampa Bay, shocking TB12 and company, sending them home 30-27 on a last-minute field goal.
Yeah,
That game was wild.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and start this one real quick, and I'm actually not going to say words. I'm going to say an action because this is what the Rams almost did in that game. They almost choked. Yeah,
but almost doesn't count except for horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams were able to pull this game away, send Tom Brady home, and hopefully he'll never come back. Because knowing Tom Brady, he's already sitting at home right now saying, golly, do I want to play another NFL season? Do I want to come back and win another Super Bowl, or do I want to go ahead and hang up my cleats and call it quits?
And I think he's also holding his head in shame because Sean Hockley penalized his ass for the first time on sportsmanlike conduct. There is a God in sports.
Yes,
there is a God in sports.
That.
When he called that, I laughed my ass off. I said, "This is hilarious." Unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense, number 12. This is number 12's first penalty of possibly being disqualified. That was awesome. I mean, getting hit by Von Miller, a bloody lip. Oh, Tom Brady, bloody lip and all. And our buddy Stephen P.A. wrote something hilarious on Twitter. He said afterwards, is Von Miller going to be on Let's Go tomorrow? And what's also funny is I was listening to the game on Sirius XM, and they played a commercial of that show, and Jim Gray was asking Tom Brady, "Hey Tom, why do you get away with so much from the officials?" And I'm like, what a coincidence. On the day they played that soundbite, TB12 gets flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct. I mean, it was glorious to hear him be called for that flag, for that penalty, for the first time in his career. And just that game was crazy. I mean, the Rams blew the doors open on Tampa Bay in the first half. Stafford's pass on 3rd and 19 to Cooper Kupp for 70 yards. First of all, what in the blue hell was Tampa Bay thinking on that sequence, not having a defensive player in the back in the secondary covering the guy who was the best receiver arguably this year in Cooper Kupp down the field for 70 yards and a touchdown. The game was, go ahead.
I want to cut you off there, Steven, real quick. Technically, they did have somebody in the secondary, but he was too busy bitching to the coaches on his own sideline that he didn't notice Cooper Kupp streaking down the field.
Yeah. And not only that, but the way the Rams defense in that first half were playing, they were coming out on Tom Brady like a pack of dogs. Aaron Darnold, Von Miller, all those guys were just hitting him, telling him, hey, we're here to play. We're here to beat you up. And if you're going to win, you're going to have to take it from us. And in that first half, the Rams played basically a perfect game. Now, at the end of the first half, the Rams had a critical turnover, but you figured, oh, that was just a turnover. No, that was the blueprint for the second half because Tampa Bay came back towards the end of that third quarter. And many people on Twitter were going, why are they kicking the field goal? Well, you got to get the point somehow. They kicked the field goal, and they were down by 21. And then Tampa Bay unleashed hell on the Rams. Or wait, I'm sorry, the Rams unleashed hell on themselves because the Rams in that late stages into the third quarter and in the fourth quarter, they were making critical errors in that game. Stafford's interception, Stafford's fumble, the fumbles by Akers, 2 fumbles in the fourth quarter that nearly cost the Rams the game. And all of those turnovers and miscues on the offense and the defense at times nearly cost them the game. And how about that when Brady threw up that deep pass to Evans and it was knocked away, and then Eric Weddle hit the receiver, and I'm like, you idiot, you got flagged. But fortunately for the Rams, they were told it was Hockley said that happened after the play. I was like, oh, thank God. Brady doesn't get another call going his freaking way again, finally, for once. And, the Rams should have lost this game. And how coincidental, the score was 27-3. In Super Bowl 51, it was 28-3 Atlanta, up by 25. Rams up by 24. And they nearly choked this game away with critical errors. And in that fourth quarter final drive, when Stafford got the ball and it was about 30-something seconds left, he fumbled the ball and unfortunately recovered. And I'm like, oh, boy, if that would have been recovered, this game is over. And when he threw the deep pass to Kupp on the 45-yard line, I'm like, all right, he got somewhat of a chance. But then he goes back to Kupp again to get him within the Tampa Bay's 10-yard line, kick the field goal, and the game is over. So the Rams, they deserve to lose that game, but I'm telling you right here, right now, we'll get to it in the predictions. If they play like that against San Francisco, first of all, San Francisco is going to eat Stafford alive in that game. It's going to be a battle in the trenches, and whoever comes out in that game is going to be the victor. But the Rams cannot afford to have critical errors against San Francisco this Sunday in the NFC Championship game against that red-hot San Francisco defense. So, Rams, congratulations. You nearly blew it, but you somehow won the game, and God bless you for knocking TB12, Tom Brady, out of the playoffs. So Tom Brady can go sit there at home with his wife and ponder his thoughts. Oh, do I need to come back and win another Super Bowl to make people feel miserable because I win all the time?
Hey, Steve.
Cheat all the time. You meant cheat.
Hold on, Randy. One second, Randy. I'm sorry. Steven, you mentioned let's go. Dave mentioned this on the show on Busted Open this past week. And I'm going to ask this question to the rest of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Tom Brady, Patrick Peterson, or no, Larry Fitzgerald, right? That's who's the other one?
Yes, Larry Fitzgerald.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, Larry Fitz, Tom Brady, and Jim Grant all have in common.
What?
They're all watching the Super Bowl from home.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are, and it's
Yeah.
glorious, especially for Brady not being in the opportunity to repeat as Super Bowl champions. 17 consecutive years. No team has repeated as Super Bowl champions.
But
See, and-
Steven, you mentioned you mentioned Tampa, and we predicted this demise several weeks ago when we said Tom Brady needs to not throw no 45 pass attempts. They need to run the fucking ball. And they couldn't get no run game going. Brady throws more than 40 pass attempts, which is a bad sign, allowing pass rushers like Von Miller and Aaron Donald to literally tee off on you. If there's one thing as a division foe that I've noticed about the Los Angeles Rams, well, it's two things. One, they suck at run defense. They're so hungry at getting after the quarterback that their D-line opens up holes bigger than a damn Cadillac can run through. It's that big. They cannot play run defense. Their run defense is horrible. And then you get the run going, then you can start passing. Tampa was just all, we're going to pass. And without Tristan Wirfs, their all-pro tackle, was getting beat off the line of scrimmage by Von Miller and Aaron Donald. They had them boys looking horrible. And that's the thing about the Rams. They let Tampa back into the game. Why? Because they do every time. They're good at blowing leads and choking. They blew a 17-3 lead to San Francisco for the division crown. San Francisco got a touchdown. They're stopping us. They done blown past us. We lost. It was the same way in Tampa. 27-3 don't matter. 27-6. Oh, we ain't worried about. 27-20.
27-27. Oh shit.
Yeah, and now, but what bailed them out is that, and I understand Tampa's got injuries, but that horrible fucking call. This is why Todd Bowles couldn't even make it as the fucking Jets head coach. That's why you got fired. You're going to sit there and play man coverage. Not even a quarterback playing man coverage. You're going to play fucking man coverage with your safety one-on-one with Cooper Kupp with less than 30 seconds to go. What? You're going, all you have to do is play zone. Don't let nobody throw a bomb on you. And you go to overtime. That's it. And what do? Oh, we're going to play man coverage. I'm going to put Antoine Winfield on guarding Cooper Kupp one-on-one in the slot. Oh, that's dumb. Stupid. Guess what? He ran right by him and then set up the game-winning field goal. I do honestly believe, and we can hate Tom Brady, I believe if that game goes to overtime, Brady wins on the first drive with a touchdown.
And you know what?
I really believe
Another thing, too, people on Twitter are bitching and complaining, saying, it's a conspiracy. I'm like, no, you cannot make fundamentally sound errors like the Rams did. Fumbles, interceptions, blown coverages. You can't script that bullshit. Don't give me that.
If it was rigged, the Rams wouldn't have done it in week 18 to the 49ers.
Exactly.
They got so much talent that their talent just gets bored. Like you got Odell Beckham up there. Oh, I'm bored. I'm just going to chill. Jalen Ramsey sitting on his tippy toes. I'm bored. I'm just chilling. And boom, Mike Evans burns his ass for a 77-yard touchdown. And then Aaron Donald, I'm bored. I'm not going to rush the passer no more. I'm just going to sit here until it's time to punt or till we get off the field and I can go give you a water break.
Sick of these idiots that sit there and think that this game is rigged. If you think it's rigged, why don't you get out there and play the game?
It is not rigged because the Rams wouldn't do it all fucking season, and Stafford's been a turnover machine all season. I don't understand why people overhype him. I don't understand it because he still turns the ball over 2 to 3 times a game. He has been. He hasn't stopped.
And he won't stop. And even if they win the NFC Championship game, he's still going to throw a critical pick in the Super Bowl. I do not trust Stafford in a big spot. Because when the game is on the line, and it almost happened this past Sunday, they almost blew the game, and they should have lost this game. And I wrote on Twitter, I said, congratulations, Rams, you deserve to lose this fucking game because they should have lost this game after taking their foot off of the gas pedal and not playing with the same intensity that they played for the first 30 minutes of that football game and getting after Tom Brady, hitting him, putting pressure on him. The running game was not good by Fournette and the rest of those running backs. Their defense in that first half played a perfect first half. And that second half, they were terrible. They cannot play like this on Sunday against a hungry, determined San Francisco team.
Absolutely. And I just want to add real quick before Randy gives his thoughts. I got to say real quick.
What, Randy has thoughts?
No.
But I got to say real quick. One thing that I know that we won't see in the NFC Championship game that we did see during the game Sunday is the fact that, yeah, well, Tom Brady gets hammered time and time again by the Rams defense. But yet, I know that the 49ers players, that defense has such heart that they're not going to sack Matthew Stafford and be like Ndamukong Suh saying, you know what? You get your fucking hands off my quarterback. You get your guys on him, I'll get my fucking hands on you and get a 15-yard taunting penalty.
Mike, you idiot. What are you doing? You know what? I was thinking about that stomp he did on Green Bay in 2011 on Thanksgiving Day when he got tossed out of the game and stomped on an offensive lineman. I'm like, this is reminiscent of that.
And here's the funny thing about it. When right before that play happened, my wife was watching the game with me, and I was telling her about Ndamukong Suh being the dirtiest player in the league. And literally 2 minutes after I said it, he commits that 15-yard taunt penalty, and I was like, babe, you see what I mean?
It's fitting that he gets flagged as soon as you tell your wife that he is a boneheaded player at times. And then it happened.
Yeah. But so long, Tom Brady. Enjoy your time at home.
Yeah, that's all I have to say. That's my only thought. Is TB12 home? Good football to be had.
Oh, he's gonna be hammered, all right. He's gonna be hammered for the next couple of weeks, drinking some daddy sodas, watching the Super Bowl and the championship.
By the way, that game was scripted. By the way, the booker who made that story, awesome job, man. You deserve to be hired by the WWE.
Hey guys, I got a great idea. Los Angeles, yeah, they're gonna be up by 20 to 3. We're gonna be going up by 20 to 3. Yeah, then what's gonna happen? Oh, even better. They're gonna go up 27 to 3. All right, perfect.
Steven, we know you're a muttering, stuttering prick.
And then everybody's gonna come back and tie the game, send the game in overtime. Oh wait, that didn't happen. Sorry, boss. The script is out the window. Shit. Damn
it.
Oh yeah, and tell me you guys happen to see the meme on Facebook that saw the picture of Antonio Brown at the Jets game holding up a sign that said "Bucks eliminated."
Actually, no, that's not a meme, Joey. That was really posted on Antonio Brown's Twitter. As being a Jack. He really had posted that.
And now that fucking Antonio Brown wants to go play for Lamar Jackson in Baltimore.
Oh, that'd be phenomenal.
That's a super team waiting to happen. Super failure.
Speaking of us laughing about something, I don't mean to go backwards, but hey, this make Israel happy. Did you happen to catch the end of the sound bites of what Robbie Gould had said? They said Jimmy G said it, but it came from Robbie Gould. When they were celebrating, he said, yeah, man, fuck the Packers. I'm out dying laughing. They claimed Jimmy G said it. People watched the video and tell Robbie Gould was like, man, fuck the Packers. Oh, boy.
Just for that.
How fitting it came from an ex-Chicago Bear.
Just for that, Jimmy is MDK certified. But let's move forward. Let's get to the final game of last week. Let's get to the Chiefs and the Bills. I know there's some people in this Zoom room right now who got something to say about the whole overtime ruling and the coin flip and all that. I know that was a hot button topic this past week in the NFL. I didn't watch the game, so unfortunately, because of course work, prevents me from watching evening games. What the fuck? Gotta love my job. I'm not gonna say the name because I don't want to get fired. But anyways, yeah. So Who wants to lead this off? I know this is a very hot button situation. On this.
I got 2 words for you guys. 2 words for you guys. Instant classic.
Yes.
That is what this game was.
Oh, it was dude, from what I saw in the highlights. It was an awesome game from what I saw in the highlights. I just know that. I mean, outside of the game being as hailed as one of the best playoff games in a long time, there's just that whole coin toss overtime thing. I know was a big hot button topic on social media this past couple days since the game happened.
Yeah, I mean, they really needed. I mean, the NFL really needs to change the overtime rules because it's not fair. I mean, me personally, as one of the people who picked the Chiefs last week, I'm happy that they won. Happy that they won, but at the same time, I feel bad for all those Buffalo players who didn't get a chance to capitalize on the Chiefs' touchdown and possibly get a touchdown of their own and draw this game even longer than what it wanted to be. Because, I mean, Buffalo fans and Kansas City fans alike, everybody enjoyed this game because this was an absolute instant classic of a game. I mean, I believe that with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, we have seen the Brady versus Manning 2.0 shine in the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, two of the best quarterbacks in the AFC. Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow not that far behind. I mean, yeah, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, they played hell. I mean, they played a hell barn burner of a game between the two. I mean, you were seeing Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes throwing touchdown passes left and right. Josh Allen completing one, Patrick Mahomes completing one. They're going back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that, Joe. I mean, look at the stats real quick. Josh Allen, 27 for 37, 329 yards, 4 touchdowns.
And
Patrick Mahomes, 33 for 44, 378 yards and 3 touchdowns. So it was an instant classic. But the big number is Gabriel Davis.
I was just about to bring that up. 201 yards receiving and all 4 of Josh Allen's touchdowns. I mean, this guy went out and had the game of his life.
Yep.
This guy went out and had the game of his life. I mean, my gracious. I mean, I stayed up till the very end and watched that game, and I'm just like, wow, can we see another Chiefs-Bills game like this? Because, my Lord, if every Chiefs-Bills game following this one is going to be like what I saw Sunday, oh, Lord, you better set this game to DVR because you're going to be wanting to watch this day after day, week after week. I'm telling you.
Just an instant classic. I mean, a game that will live on in infamy and will be talked about for years to come. And my thoughts on this game is both of these quarterbacks were studs. When the pressure was on, Mahomes and Allen delivered in the clutch. Unlike Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes and Allen played absolute flawless games. No interceptions thrown by neither quarterback. And Gabriel Davis, man, for Buffalo, oh my God. If you had him on your fantasy team, dude, you deserve an award for that because he came and played his ass off. And Josh Allen, man, the fact that this dude gets disrespected by the fans around the world that did not put him in the Pro Bowl, and he went out there, played his ass off, threw 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and they were 13 seconds away from their first AFC Championship game hosting in years, since 94, when they took on the Chiefs in that game. And just this game was amazing. And one of my friends, Ashley, was there with her and her family. And man, just that game was crazy. I mean, Buffalo went up 33-20, Buffalo went up 29-26. And then you're like, all right, man, momentum's on their side. And then Mahomes throws that touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill for 64 yards, go up 33-29. And you're going, oh, man, now let's see what Allen can do. And he came back down the field, threw the touchdown to Davis to go up 36-33 with 13 seconds left. And then the biggest mistake of them all happened in this game. And Tony Romo hit it on the head. Why did Sean McDermott not call for a squib kick to be kicked and kicked it deep? Because if that kick was kicked on a squib kick, seconds would have went off the clock. At least 3, 5, possibly 7 seconds would have went off that clock. And you kicked the ball deep, inexcusable. And another thing that the Bills screwed up on, why in the hell are you giving Hill and Kelsey that much of a cushion to catch those passes, knowing that Mahomes is going to possibly go to those two guys because those are his two big targets that he trusts? And in another thing, okay, it's one thing to get one pass completed. Hill went out of bounds. And then the next play, Kelsey gets the ball thrown in the middle of the field, and they're hugging the sideline. Why are the Bills players on the sideline thinking, oh, we got to protect the sideline? And Kansas City had all 3 of their timeouts. And Kelsey, great field awareness, stopped where he was at on the 33-yard line, kicks the ball, calls the timeout, and then Butker kicked the ball from 49 yards. We're tied going into overtime. So, and then the overtime happens. The coin flip is called. Kansas City wins it's called tails by Josh Allen and them. It's heads. Kansas City goes down on the opening drive of overtime, scores the touchdown to Kelsey. Now, I know, Kevin, how you feel about this. I know, Joey, how you feel about this. But in my own personal opinion, I understand what you guys are saying because y'all were saying this, and a lot of people on my friends list on Facebook were saying this when Mahomes didn't get a chance to take the field against Brady and the Patriots in the AFC Championship game 4 years ago. If your defense is that good, and Buffalo's defense is amazing, they were ranked number 1 all season long. Amazing. They were amazing this year. If your defense is that good, stop them. Stop them. Stop them. Make the right plays. Stop Mahomes. Because the way this game was going to happen, somebody was going to have to make a critical mistake on either end, the offense or the defensive end. And unfortunately, it was the defensive end. Somebody had to make a mistake, and it was Buffalo. Buffalo made some critical mistakes in this game by not kicking the ball deep, on a squib kick, kicking it deep. Their defense was bad with 13 seconds left. If they wanted the chance to get that ball in overtime, stop Mahomes, because they had a 3rd and 1. They didn't stop them, and they kept the drive going to make them have a turnover. That's how or even better, make them kick a field goal, and then Allen would have had the ball. But I got to give Josh Allen a lot of credit after this game. He said, hey, I'm not mad about the rules. It is what it is. And Mahomes said the same thing, I believe, in 2018 when they didn't took the field, because the Chiefs had multiple chances to stop the Patriots and they didn't. And the Bills had chances in the fourth quarter and overtime to stop them, and it didn't happen. But I'm not saying that the rules need to be changed. Who knows what's going to happen, but I'm going to stick to my opinion. I think that the rules are fine, because these rules, for the most part, except this decade, they changed the rules where you can, get the ball if they kick a field goal. Okay, whatever. But the fact that, people on Facebook were saying, oh, they should have been given a chance. Like I said, if their defense is that good, you stop them. Because if they stop them on a field goal or a defensive stand, Allen's getting that ball back. And Allen said it best in his press conference. If we would have got the ball on the coin toss, we would be celebrating. He's absolutely right, because that's how the game was flowing. But both teams played an absolute classic. It's the best game of the year, and it's a shame it was not the Super Bowl.
I agree, but it's just a thing that if if this is the last ride of both Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady's what a coincidence that we get a game like this with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, who coincidentally said, this is our league now. Those two battling it out. That was such a representation of what the league is, and the league's in good hands. Now, as far as the overtime rule, I don't think it should really be changed, maybe tweaked, but people's right though. Like, as a defensive minded player and a person myself, defense wins championships. You don't care too much about the overtime rule, fucking stop them.
Exactly.
Play defense and hold them to a field goal, something, because your quarterback's on fire. You got to stop them. But yet again, and everybody that wants to change the rule, and including myself at first, it's just eye candy. We want to see both Mahomes and Josh Allen.
Yeah, because we're both playing.
That's just our preference.
Critics.
That ain't what the game's about, though. The game's about defense. No matter how much you try to take it out, how much you try to penalize the defense and this and that, the game is still defense and special teams win championships. If you screw up on special teams and defense, like we seen the Buffalo Bills and the Green Bay Packers, you're going home. It's that simple. And the Bills screwed up on special teams by not squibbing, and the special teams not squibbing the kick, and the defense for trying to play man coverage on the fastest man on earth, for crying out loud. And it just baffles me. Why would they play man coverage on him?
And not only that, but one thing that I also forgot, but before you continue, another thing I forgot to hit on, the punting. When the punt was fielded and then they had to re-kick it. If you're kicking for a second time to Tyreek Hill, do not allow him to be near the ball.
that it's common sense that the Bills messed up. Now, if the Bills in the offseason, they need to, I honestly think they need a better defensive coordinator, because that was horrible. That was horrible play calling in the last minute and overtime of that game to play man coverage with 13 seconds left, or not man coverage with 13 seconds left, to play man coverage on Travis Kelce in the red zone, where the guy 6'7" can grab anything. No matter who you put on him, it's a mismatch. That was just poor play calling. But this game, everybody talks about that Monday night game years back between the Rams and the Chiefs. Oh, no, that ain't got shit on this game. This game was way better than that, with more stakes on the line, and I love this game. I can't wait to see them next year battling it out again. Hopefully next year it's for the AFC Championship game, and that will be even more stakes on the line. I hope so.
That game was so good. I couldn't even go to sleep. That's how great this game was. The intensity. You couldn't even sit down and sip on your drink if you were drinking during this game, because it was that crazy. Back and forth, both of these teams went up and down the field, and it was just an instant classic. Best game of the year by far.
Definitely, I agree with that. And let's since we just recapped those games, real quick, before we get to the predictions for the next week, which Randy is back with us right now, we can go ahead and actually, let's just go ahead and go straight into those predictions right now. Let's go ahead and do it, guys. I mean, we only got 2 games. It's only gonna take what, fucking 5 minutes?
Yeah.
It's only gonna be as long as it took for the Panthers to pick Ben McAdoo. But I'm not gonna.
Like, as long as it took Patrick Mahomes to get in field goal range.
Yep.
Yeah, but I will say, though, it may only be 2 games, but these 2 games, well, I know one game is going to be easy for one of our guys to pick, but in general, both these games are going to be really hard to pick.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get going, guys. Here we go. Prediction time. Of course, let's do it. It's first game is the AFC Championship game. Cincinnati Bengals, Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead.
Whew.
See, generally, I would take the underdog, but seeing that the Chiefs' front four are playing good ball right now. Since the arrival of Melvin Ingram, Chris Jones and company have been getting after the quarterback, and the Bengals offensive line, unless the Bengals play 3-step drops all game, it's going to be a dogfight. But I got the Chiefs coming out, but I think it's still going to be a last-second field goal, even though Burrow's going to take a beating. I'm going to say last-second field goal, Chiefs win it, 34-31.
Ooh.
Yeah, Buffalo had one job to keep Chiefs out of there because I hate the Chiefs, but you got to respect them. But just for that fact, to get them out of there because Mahomes is hard to beat. They've been on a roll ever since that mid-season slump, and I think they're just going to continue that momentum into the Super Bowl. 28-24.
Okay. I'll go next. It's going to be a dogfight, that's for sure. This is not going to be no easy win for either team. It's going to be highly contested, firepower versus firepower. It's a tough one, but I got to go with Kansas City only because they have more experience in this type of game, the pressure, the ramifications of what could come if they win. Unfortunately, Cincinnati hasn't been in that position in a long, long time. And this is a young team that, even if they lose, even if they don't make it to the Super Bowl, this is a great learning experience for them for next time. And if they could, so for me, I'm going to go Kansas City. I'm going to go 37-34 on a last-second field goal. It's going to be a highly contested shootout.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and go next with this one. This is going to be one absolute dogfight. You got both teams with high-powered offenses, strong defenses. I mean, it's going to be an all-out war in Kansas City on Sunday. And the Chiefs are going to win this game. I got a feeling that they will. But I'm going to say that the Chiefs win on a last-second field goal, 31-30.
Wow.
31-30.
This is a tough one to pick because both of these offenses are really good. And, you guys have said it. Cincinnati has a lot of great pieces on this team, and they're very overachieving. They're a very young team. I don't think they're going to win this game because they don't have the experience like Kansas City does. But hats off to Cincinnati for one hell of a year. So I'm going to go with Kansas City in this one, in a close one. I'm going to go Kansas City 31-24. Game-winning touchdown.
Okay.
All
right, that's a good one. All right, let's move on to the final game. The NFC title game, the 49ers and the Rams. You know what? I'm going to leave this one off. 49ers, easily. And the only reason, Matt Stafford's I'm trying to put the term correctly. I don't want to bash him, but Matt Stafford's inability is inconsistency. There we go. His inconsistency overall in his career. I know he's had a bit of a lot of shitty teams, and I get that. But it's time, as they say in Zombieland, to nut up or shut up. And this is the time for Matt Stafford to do so. But fearing what I know from him all the years in Detroit and certain big game factors that he was involved in, I just got to go with the 49ers. I feel like as a team, they can't be stopped. Jimmy G is a clutch player when it counts. Deebo Samuel, even though he's a little banged up, he'll still be as viable of a threat as he always is. George Kittle, of course, can't go wrong with him. I mean, that team itself is dangerous on all fronts. And to me, that's the one thing that I think is going to be the edge to me is how consistent Stafford will be. So if he's not, it's going to be a long night for LA. So I'm going to go with the 49ers. It's going to be close again. I'm going to go 28-24.
I'll go next. It's a tough one to pick once again, but knowing what we know about football and the history of this game, Matthew Stafford might be on a nice little run right now because he is. He knocked out Brady out of the playoffs, thank God, and they beat Arizona 2 weeks ago. And, Stafford's had a nice run, and he's playing well for the most part, but still the inconsistency that follows him, even in their win against Tampa Bay. In the first half, Stafford was unstoppable. And that second half, he was up and down until the fourth quarter when he threw those 2 critical passes to Cooper Kupp to get him in the field goal range and win the game. If the Rams are not careful in this game, especially on the offensive end, on the offensive line, the running backs, receivers, Stafford especially, and special teams, all units are accountable. If the Rams are not careful in this game, they are going to lose this game again against San Francisco because, as we know, San Francisco has the Rams' number. And I think they will have their number again. I think Stafford, he's not going to throw a pick in the first half. But I think when the game is on the line and the chips are on the table, you have an opportunity, a golden opportunity, to be the second team at this time consecutively to host a Super Bowl in your own stadium. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think Stafford is going to throw a pick six. San Francisco is going to win this game on a pick six. 28-21. 28-21. San Francisco's defense is going to come through in the clutch. Defense is going to win this game, and I think it's going to be a Super Bowl 54 rematch between Kansas City and San Francisco.
I tell you my score. I'm gonna start out by saying it's gonna be a dogfight. It's hard to beat a team 2 times in one season, let alone 3 times in one season.
Mm-hmm.
So that alone is gonna be a dogfight. But for what I gotta say about it, you just know, confident-wise, it's in the Rams' head. Like, McVay's thinking, this team's got me 6-0. They beat me 6 straight times. I haven't beat them under Kyle Shanahan. I have not won a game me being the head coach against them. The stakes are really high, not just for the NFC title game and a trip to the Super Bowl, but for McVay himself, like how his legacy is looking because of that. But the way I think it's going to happen, the 49ers it's going to be a home game for the 49ers. I'm sorry to say it, because the Rams, after they moved to St. Louis, when they was in St. Louis, the majority of the Los Angeles population were Raiders fans or Niner fans. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Maybe some Chargers fans sprinkled in, but it's Raiders fans and Niners fans. So the Rams move on in, and guess what? Like last game they played at SoFi, it was a majority Niner fan population. So much for that Ticketmaster. The Rams did a bullshit move on Ticketmaster talking about anybody outside of Los Angeles is restricted to buy tickets to go to the game to be Niner fans. I was like, wait a minute. I said, listen. I said, wait a minute. Are you dumbasses really that stupid when I'm sitting here telling you that Los Angeles' population in general is mostly Niner fans? So it's still going to be mostly Niner fans, which they uplifted that rule today, matter of fact. I think they overthought it and was like, well, we're stupid for that.
Yeah,
but anyway,
they are.
The key to the game is going to be, like you said, Stafford's inconsistency. But what's going to make him inconsistent is that 49er pass rush. Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, DJ Jones, those guys have 10 sacks the last 2 games. And the first one was without Bosa for the majority. 10 sacks those guys had. in the last 2 games. If they put that much pressure on Matthew Stafford, I can guarantee at least 2 turnovers because of that inconsistency. Now, Cooper Kupp, Offensive Player of the Year. Got to hand it to him, even though I think Debo should get a nod for that as well. But that's another subject. Cooper Kupp, we're going to try to play him like they played Devontae Adams. We're going to make Odell Beckham try to have a 100-yard game to beat us. Make everybody else but Kupp. I don't think Stafford can do it. And between that and the running game for the 49ers, I think we're finally going to see a breakout of this offense. We've talked about how the defense carried us against Dallas. We talk about the defensive special teams carried us about the Packers. I think it's our offense's turn to get off. I'm going to say Jimmy G goes 19 for 27 for 278 yards and 2 touchdowns. Very good numbers. No picks. Both touchdowns come to Kittle in the red zone. And I feel like Debo will have a rushing touchdown as well as Elijah Mitchell, a rushing touchdown. So I'm going to say Niners are the Rams are favored by 3.5, but I'm going to take the Niners by 3.5. Give me Niners by 4. Give me Niners 30, Rams 26. And a rematch, what the Niners wanted. Kittle said it at the end of the Super Bowl. They got it mic'd up. Kittle said, I will be back. I'm coming for Patrick. I'm coming for the Chiefs. We want our match. We want our rematch. This is their golden opportunity Sunday.
Absolutely. Who's next?
Randy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. There's so many variables. I mean, can't beat a team 3 times. Matthew Stafford throwing a pick 6. 2 of the 3 games I watched in the first play from scrimmage from him this year. I mean, it's just going to be so exciting to see what happens in this game. But I don't know. Part of me is going. It's 50-50, almost 50-50. I'm not sure who to pick even. I mean, it's just going to be a great game. But I think I think Kyle Shanahan and the Niners are going to end up pulling it out. But it's going to be close. 24-21. I think.
Ooh.
And then we'll have that rematch that Kevin was talking about. And
Awesome.
Who knows what will happen then?
Oh man, this weekend is going to be an amazing, exciting weekend, man. Don't forget to catch both of them games, everybody. It's going to be an awesome, awesome weekend of football, man, leading to the Super Bowl in 2 weeks.
But how fitting is it that either way, a West Coast team is going to be representing the Super Bowl with your boy Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and them?
Yes. And it's going to be
That
the
is
best
gonna be a
halftime
classic.
show in years.
That's
And
why
I'm
the
not-
Raiders
but,
will be in.
but you know, another crazy stat real quick is, and it sounds a little nerdy and funny, but you know that the Niners are undefeated when Debo hired a boombox guy to lead them out of their locker room playing Kodak Black for like the 5th time in a row. They haven't lost yet. And you know what? If it works, hell, keep doing it.
Yeah, definitely that halftime show. As many of you know, we're most of us here are rockers. Most of us here, we're rock fans. We haven't seen a halftime show with a live rock band since, if you want to count an actual solo thing, since The Who over 11 years ago. That was the last time. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's been some good ones. I mean, there's been some okay ones, but the best one, I think, in my opinion, Bruno Mars with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. That was unfucking real. I'll say that much. But this one, being a fan of, especially of Eminem, as I am growing up, with the Slim Shady LP as my first Eminem record I ever heard at the age of 8. You gotta be freaking kidding me. And then my mom getting the Marshmallows LP because she's a huge Eminem fan, listening to that record and hearing those songs, which to me is one of the top 5 best hip hop albums of all time, and that's saying something.
And then for me, my favorite Eminem, those 2 albums are great too, but I think my favorite Eminem record is the Eminem Show. That is just a phenomenal album. I mean,
Love it.
I agree. But for me, I think I know we're getting into a tangent here. I don't want to get too far deep because we still got a good amount of stuff to talk about. But I just think the overall visceral nature of that record with Eminem, because he was at that time, he was at the height of his, unfortunately, at the height of his drug and alcohol abuse. He was at the height of the Slim Shady character itself. So a lot of the whacked out things that you hear, like songs like "Kill You" and Marshall Mathers and Kim, Criminal, all those songs on there, which are a little bit whacked out and crazy. That was the most visceral I think Eminem was. The most real he was on the Eminem show. That was his most personal, I think, outside of Relapse, his most personal record. But I don't want to get too far into a tangent, like I said about music. It's going to be a great halftime show regardless. But
have y'all heard the trailer for the halftime show already?
Yes, I have.
That shit is dope,
I saw it the other day.
Amazing trailer. Great job done. It's gonna be awesome.
Man, Snoop's gonna be awesome. Oh my God!
You got Snoop, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, Eminem, and Dr. Dre.
Dude, the first time I'll be checking out a halftime show in God knows how long. I mean, it's gonna be incredible.
But
but I forgot to give my score of the game.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry, Joe.
No, it's fine. Go
ahead, buddy. Score. Let's do it.
Oh, I've really been thinking about this game. I've been thinking about it ever since the Rams clinched the spot in the NFC title game whenever they beat the Bucs. Now, I'm going to go not too far back because Kevin brought up a good point when he said that it's hard to beat a team twice in a row, let alone 3 times in a row. But knowing that the Rams have gone 0-6 against the Niners ever since Sean McVay took the head coaching job, it kind of reminds me of one little rivalry that takes place usually in the college football ranks every year. And I'm talking about Kirby Smart for the Georgia Bulldogs against Nick Saban of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yep.
Up until Georgia won the national championship this year, which I'm still a little sour about that, but I digress. But up until Georgia won the national championship from Alabama, Kirby Smart had been 0-7 against Nick Saban ever since Kirby Smart took over the reins as Georgia head coach.
Yeah.
And this Smart Saban rivalry reminds me of the Shanahan McVay rivalry. But I mean, both teams are really great. The Niners have a stronger defensive front. The Niners definitely have a stronger offensive front. It's going to be an absolute dogfight, but the Niners are going to pull this one out 34-30.
All right.
Great score. Usually I go into score updates with the NBA and everything, but due to time constraints, kind of like what happened at the main event with GCW, which I might jump on the Nation's Corner this Saturday, might talk a little bit about the show, but I don't want to get too far into anything about that. Real quick, I want to get us some quick news notes on other sports. World of Baseball, it was announced that David Ortiz, Big Papi himself, was voted to the Net Baseball Hall of Fame by the Baseball Writers Association of America, making it in on his first year on the ballot. Not only that, making history as the first true designated hitter in MLB history to get in on the first ballot.
And not to mention, Barry Bonds gets snubbed yet again in his final year.
Barry Bonds, and I believe there's one other name on there too.
His final year of eligibility, he gets snubbed out once again.
Yep.
Kurt Schilling didn't get in.
Yeah, Kurt Schilling didn't get in. Yeah. There were several names that unfortunately did not. Oh, Roger Clemens was another one that did not get in.
Alex Rodriguez as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Roland,
It all goes back to those days when Kurt Schilling, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, they were all involved in the whole steroid scandal and the PED scandal. and not to mention Kurt Schilling's bloody sock from what was it? Like American League Championship Series or the World Series. I can't remember which
The
one it
American
was.
League Championship Series.
Yeah, American
yes.
League. Yeah.
Had those guys given us great stats? I mean, yeah, they put up great stats, but when you get caught up in such a serious scandal like that, it's hard for people to overlook the stats. I mean, it's hard for people to overlook that. I mean, yeah, stats alone don't define a great athlete. What you do behind the scenes as well is what reveals how true of an athlete you really want to be. And Clemens, Schilling, and Bonds, and Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire, Rafael Palmeiro. I can name you a couple more names, but just knowing that all those guys get snubbed year after year after year from not being voted into the Hall of Fame, it just goes back to that past. I hate to see an athlete get snubbed in the Hall of Fame, especially when they put up great stats, but when you do something that stupid behind the scenes, it's like they're never going to live that up again.
No, it's very hard not to, but unfortunately, that's the nature of the beast. When you commit a heinous act, an act that looks heinous on paper, like taking drugs or doing steroids, or if you did something outside the field, like, if you committed a very heinous crime, they're going to look at that in a very different limelight over your career stats. I mean, look at, for example, Chris Benoit's situation. Very prime example of that. Benoit, one of the greatest technical wrestlers of all time, former world heavyweight champion, a legend in the world of professional wrestling, but he will never be inducted into any Hall of Fame because of the mistakes that he made and the crimes that he had committed. Similar thing, unfortunately, with Roger Clemens, unfortunately with Barry Bonds, unfortunately with Pete Rose. That is the exact same thing. That is that they committed heinous acts inside or outside baseball, and that that is going to overshadow the mark that they made in the sport itself with their play, with their stats. And it's very unfortunate, but we're not the voters committee. We're not the major leagues. We're not Major League Baseball, so we don't make the decisions. We don't get paid the big bucks to do so. So that's totally up to that's their prerogative, and we just got to go by whatever they go by.
Yeah.
But I want to get it, and then I want to get into one more thing, and that is before we close the show out. And that is, of course, we can't go without talking about UFC 270 this past weekend with a very good main event between Ciryl Gane and Francis Ngannou for the undisputed UFC heavyweight title. That was an excellent fight. Gane had Ngannou at first. The first round kept him standing up and kept peppering him with strikes and kept his timing was impeccable. But to me, the difference maker was Ngannou's ground game. Once Ngannou got him to the ground, that was it. Ciryl seemed like he couldn't fight back on the ground when he came to especially the clinch up against the cage. That's where Francis shined really, really, really well, and he ended up getting the unanimous decision victory and retaining the undisputed UFC heavyweight title.
And that co-main event was incredible.
Absolutely. Absolute great co-main event. Whole card itself, I rewatched actually just last night or yesterday, and it was a really, really, really good pay-per-view overall. Great fights. Can't wait for the next one.
Let's see.
Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers had Allstate or State Farm, he'd be protected from mayhem. Oh my God! Wow! Wow! Kevin. Amazing.
But
amazing.
I gotta say though, as crazy and as how interesting and amazing as that fight was between Ngannou and Ciryl Gane, it's disappointing in the sense that Ngannou now is probably gonna have to put the title belt on the line against that convict of a fucking fighter, John Bones Jones.
Ugh.
Let's not get off on too much of a tangent about that.
Hey, I'm just gonna say, I just want to say that is going to be a disappointment if we have to witness that.
Yeah, it would be because he doesn't deserve a title shot after what he did in the past. All the outside bullshit that he got himself in trouble.
Money talks.
Yep, money talks, bullshit walks, as we know.
Yep.
Real quick, absolutely. Real quick before closing out the show, gotta say real quick, great. First off, great show by GCW this past weekend. Awesome show. Great, dude. Unfortunately, time constraints and everything caused some issues with some matches, cutting time, especially the main event. But overall, great show. Congratulations to GCW on one hell of a program this past weekend.
Sold out
to Hammerstein Ballroom, New York City. Set a new attendance record. Just a great time to be a wrestling fan right now, especially. But Steven, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
When Nick Gage came out there and Fajunda Beltos came on, that place went crazy. It was insane.
As soon as Dewey Donovan walked out, it turned around and put his hands out there to the stage, and the Fajunda Beltos played. You knew it was game over, but you knew that you did it. I understand why they put that match on last, the tag team title match last over the world title, and it was because of Nick Gage being the cornerstone of GCW. But I will get more into that if I jump on the Nation's Corner. We will see. But let's wrap up the show how we do it always, guys. Final thoughts. Randy Gyron, you're first.
Hey, man, great show today, guys. Sorry I had to jump off there for a second.
No problem, buddy.
But just this football season has been just an amazing season. From the Raiders making the playoffs after all of that stuff and all these amazing playoff games. I mean, I don't remember the NFL being this good. I don't remember it, and I'm just glad that we have some of the good teams, the good matchups we have, because last couple of years it hasn't been that way. And and I want to say real quick about that GCW thing. I watched the pre thing on YouTube, and I knew it was going to be wild when they had those people just standing on the stage like that. When they were coming out, I was like, man, this is GCW in a nutshell right there, And I thought it was great. It looked great too. I mean, even everything that happened was just on point with them, and they ran into some time, but hey, it was great and it was good for wrestling, like you said. And it's a great show, and thanks for having me again.
Absolutely, man. Joe?
Just wanted to say another great show with you guys. Love coming on here week after week and talking football and talking shit about Lord knows what we want to talk about. But I'm looking forward to Championship Sunday. I can't wait to watch both those games. Both games are going to be absolute dogfights, but I want to get really serious for just a little bit. I received some heartbreaking news earlier today when a former good friend of mine who I always liked talking to whenever we were at the same church or whenever we went to the same church. I always liked talking to him whenever I would go to the Richmond Raider games. He passed away today. His name was Matt Haywood. He was one of the biggest Raider fans I knew, other than myself and other than, of course, Kevin and Steven. He was a big Raider fan. He had a heart on fire for the Lord, and my heart goes out to him and his family. 34 years old. You're going to be missed, my friend.
Absolutely. Definitely prayers and condolences go out to him, his family. 34 years old, way too young. Definitely. So definitely we send our condolences to the family and everything. Kevin, final thoughts.
What a wild postseason it's been. It's been a great show talking about these wild games, but I've got 3 words for this postseason. If there's any lesson to be learned, it's any given Sunday. Home field don't matter. Being favored doesn't matter. All that matters is you make the right plays at the right time. And with that being said, go Niners. Championship Sunday between the hours of 6 o'clock Eastern time and about 9:30 Eastern time. Rule number 1, do not call me. No matter what you got going on, do not call me. If you're dying, hold on. Here's the best one. If you're dying or you think you're going to be dead, don't call me because likely I can't do nothing anyway. So go ahead and call 911. Do not call me. That is all. But it's been a great show with you guys.
Don't call us.
Look forward to next week. Talk about a Super Bowl matchup.
Don't call us. We'll call you. All right, Steven.
Oh man, what a phenomenal show talking about these wild divisional round games that we had this past weekend. And if that's any indication on what's going to happen on Sunday for Championship Sunday, boy, it is going to be 2 phenomenal games because any of these 4 teams can make it to the Super Bowl. But unfortunately, like the Bills and the Chiefs game this past Sunday, somebody has to lose. And somebody is going to be going to the Super Bowl. It's going to be 2 teams. Who are they? We don't know. That's why the games are played. And there's one thing that I think we learned about this season. Coaching matters. Because when the games are on the line and the intensity is risen to a greater height, you have to think logically when you're coaching in these games. And this right here can determine a winner and a loser for both of these games. And, you were talking about GCW, and I know the Nation's Corner is going to be talking about this Saturday, on the show. And also Mission Pro Wrestling's Crazy Train is happening this Saturday. And also one of the big 4, the WWE, the Royal Rumble in St. Louis. I mean, it's going to be a crazy weekend of professional wrestling and football and all that good stuff. And hey, Joey, next Wednesday, your football team gets their last name finally. So congrats.
February 2nd. Bring it on.
Finally, you are no longer the Washington No Names.
They're going to be the Washington somebodies because they're going to get a last name. And you know what? As the song goes, I don't even know their last name. And so it's going to be a great weekend of wrestling and sports. And the Nation's Corner will have you covered on the world of wrestling, GCW, WWE, Mission Pro, AEW, all the 9 yards. We got you covered next Tuesday for another edition of our Nation Sports Show talking about Championship Sunday. And with that being said, Ezra, close it out, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. What an amazing show we had tonight. Just overall great discussion. Got into a lot of great topics. Like you said, Nation's Corner, Saturday, 7-6 Central, youtube.com/Nation's Corner. All the social medias at Nation's Corner or The Nation's Corner. Look it up. Mission Pro Crazy Train, get that on Title Match Network. Also, don't forget, our logo will be on the turnbuckles at Mission Pro Wrestling. So check out the Nation's Corner logo on the turnbuckle at Mission Pro Crazy Train this weekend. Also got to send great thing for R.A. Davis, our buddy R.A., who got to meet one of his idols, the hardcore legend, Mick Foley, this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And that was awesome to see Mick get a photo with R.A. It was great. Mick is a great guy. But enough of my chatter. Let's close this bitch out. For Kevin Rorie, Randy Gyron, Stephen Wyand, and Joe, not Justin Timberlake, JT Thornton, I am Mr. Vickery, and we will see you next week for another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. Peace.
Turn me up.